Hi, welcome to my channel. This is 30milesofcorruption.com. My name is Vivian and I have been sick with the flu for a couple days, so I haven't been videotaping, but I am back now. And while I was sick, I was doing some work on the mayor's race. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to explain to you today is that the government of the city of Riverside is the government for the city employees of Riverside. This is not a government for the citizens of Riverside. The citizens of Riverside fund the government employees of the city of Riverside. The government that is supposed to protect and provide for the citizens of Riverside, that is what we pay our taxes for. That is the way it's supposed to work. But I am going to lay out to you and show you that the city of Riverside is the government for the employees of the city of Riverside. Their main intent is to protect the salaries, the pensions, the livelihood, and the quality of life for their employees, not the citizens. The citizens in Riverside are funding this overinflated, unlimited checkbook for the city of Riverside. And I'm going to explain to you how I'm going to lay all this out so everyone can see how all the pieces fall into place. And these people right here, Patricia Locke Dawson and Andy Melendrez, are all tied in to this entire scheme. It's a scheme about purchasing every seat on the city council and the mayor's seat. If it is all purchased by the unions that are in charge of the city employees, the people of the city of Riverside have zero quality of life. You are funding the employees. And get out your pocketbook because they are going to come for more. But I just want the citizens of Riverside to learn what is really going on and how you are footing the bill for their very nice, very expensive, luxurious lifestyle. I'm going to kind of talk about how I started. I'm going to go back to that, and then I'm going to talk about the mayor's race, and then I'm going to go over the budget, and I'm going to prove to you how all these people are liars, okay? And if you vote for Andy Melendrez or Patricia Locke Dawson, you deserve what you get. Be careful what you wish for, and Mayor Bailey says Patricia is going to protect our quality of life, and Andy Melendrez says he's going to solve tough problems, improves the quality of life in our neighborhoods, and protect things that make Riverside such a special and unique place. Okay, if you believe that, then I've got a bridge to sell to you, okay? Because this is the nuttiest thing on the planet, what these two people are doing. Well, actually, when I started being taught how to do this in about 2008, 2009, I'm going to talk about me for a minute. So let me just ramble for a second, and then we're going to get back to these. Okay, so when I started, what happens, like, we went to training for probably almost 2 years. But it took us like 2 months to really figure out and see the patterns of how everything's done in the city. Well, the group of us, there was a group of us that were taught how to do what we do, and I took on finance, and I took on the monthly budget, the everything that came out of the finance department, the yearly budget, the CAFRA, the comprehensive financial reports. So I kind of followed the numbers. That was my thing. Another one of our groups, she did the bonds. So everybody kind of had a specialty. So when we started this out, it was Ron Loveridge. He was almost at the end of his term, and Paul Sundin was he was the chief financial officer and the assistant manager. Ron Loveridge had one assistant manager and a chief financial officer that were the same guy. Okay, today we have one city manager, four assistants, I think, four assistant managers. It's crazy what we have now and how we've grown. So when we first started in this journey that we've been on to really look at the city of Riverside and what's going on, what we realized that since we've been doing this, there has been 3 manufactured crises to get us here today. And I just kind of want you to follow me, and you will see the pattern and how this all evolves. So when we started, the crisis was school funding and low income housing. This was the message that was sent out to the public. Like, if we did redevelopment, we could send 10% of that money to the schools. In fact, that was the law. If you, as a city, decided to get involved in redevelopment, there were 2 things that you had to do. You had to send 10% to the schools. It was called a pass-through payment. And then you had to build 10% low-income housing. So let's say one of my projects was the First to Third, which is Mark Rubin's apartments down there. And it was very interesting how he was able to not include low-income housing in his project. And that's a whole nother video. But when at the end of redevelopment, the city of Riverside didn't send 1 dime to the schools, or they didn't build 1 low-income housing. Okay, they spent over $1 billion, and the reason they were going to spend the $1 billion was to help the schools and to build low-income housing. And neither one of those ever happened. Then, after redevelopment was over, the next crisis was the pensions. You know, we need to pay these pensions. We're getting in trouble with these pensions. So the solution was Measure Z. Here's my little chart. The solution was Measure Z. So the solution to help the schools in low-income housing was redevelopment. Okay, so now the next crisis, and the pensions were never paid. All the years that they had employees, they didn't pay these costs. No. So they didn't pay the schools, they didn't pay for low-income housing, and they didn't pay their pension costs. Okay? So there's always a solution to the crisis. So now, the new crisis, because kind of like they've talked pensions for the last 2 or 3 years. Now everybody's like, bored of it. But this is our new crisis, homelessness. Okay, so this is the new crisis, homelessness. So with homelessness, they're going to need more money. Okay? So, again, through redevelopment, they didn't spend one dime. They didn't send one dime to the schools. Low-income housing, they didn't build one. They let all their developers not do their due diligence. They didn't pay. If you had a business and you didn't pay your cost to the state or to Social Security or whatever, you would be fined crazy. And I'm sure they are being fined. But they're not being fined. We're the taxpayer being fined. And we're punished because they didn't do their job. No. They wanted to have fun with all the money, right? And now you have a homeless crisis. And let's talk about the homeless crisis, okay? So we have the list, which my husband will post here, of 2018-2019 counts, the homeless counts in Riverside County. And you know, it's really interesting to me that half of these cities in Riverside County have actually reduced their homeless. Like, let's say Moreno Valley. In 2018, they had 77 homeless people. And in 2019, they had like maybe 38. Where do you think all those homeless people went? Okay? Riverside in 2018 has over 300 homeless people, and it was probably more. And actually, instead of decreasing and helping to fix the problem, they've increased to like 400, over 450. So some cities decrease, other cities increase. So here's your list. So homelessness is going to be your new crisis. And homelessness is going to be, there will be a bond, there will be a new tax. This is how they are going to raise the money. They are not going to do anything except put a Band-Aid on it, just like they did all this other stuff right here. This is how they did all the other stuff. They're just going to put a Band-Aid on it, and the money is going to keep coming in, and the homelessness is going to get out of control. And these people here are just going to make it happen even more. And actually, this guy, Andy Melendrez, not only is he going to increase homelessness, because it says reducing homelessness, you would think Andy Melendrez being here for 14 years would already be reducing homelessness. He would already be transparent. He would already be doing everything there was to really improve the quality of life. He does zippo. No, because Andy Melendrez sits there and just rambles on. Sometimes I ramble on too, but he rambles on, and he's no energy, low energy. So whatever. Okay, so now let's go to the budget. And let me tell you what they're doing. So we're going to put up these graphs that the city of Riverside has, and I'm going to show you what liars they are. So when I started looking at the budget in 2011, about 2011. I mean, when I really started getting into it was 2011. It was about 200, maybe about 200 million, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, about 200 million. So today, in their graph, it says our budget is now $272 million. Please. Their budget is more like $303 million. So my question is, they have 272 million, plus they have charges and transfers that are 32.29 that they're not including in the 272. So that totals up to 303. So in about 9 years, the budget has increased by $100 million. $100 million. And I ask people, where do you think they got that $100 million? From you, the taxpayer. Oh yeah, they got that $100 million from you sales tax, property taxes. That's how they get utility user tax. Every time there's an increase in your utility bill, they get more money from that utility user tax. Okay, so here's how they divide it. So they say that the budget is $272 million. $219 million, 80% of the budget goes to personnel. $272 million budget, okay? $219 million goes to personnel. $32 million goes to debt service, minor capital, and special projects. $32.2 million goes to that. And then you have $50 million left to take care of our quality of life issues. Out of $303 million, we get $50 million. Okay, it even gets better than that. Because I found there's a transmittal letter that goes from the chief financial officer to the council. And in this letter, it states very specifically that $19.1 million of the $272 million goes to a separate fund for civic entertainment. Oh yeah. Are you ready for that? Civic entertainment gets $19.1 million set aside in a special fund. Okay, so to take care of emergency needs, homelessness, okay, remember homelessness is the new crisis. To take on homelessness, facility capital needs, in case they get in trouble with more pension money, they need more pension money. All that's left is about $35 million to take care of us, the taxpayer. $35 million for quality of life issues. Yeah, that's it. And out of $35 million, even if they divided this in half and spent $17 million on tree trimming, streets, ward action teams, sidewalks, whatever, that's all we get, basically. And then they split up half of it for any emergency they have, like their homelessness or, I mean, it's insane what they've done. But let me tell you the real clincher here. The way I look at it, and we have predicted this before in the past. We predicted that in 2016, the city would run out of money. And we thought the city was going to go belly up because we knew they would be out of money. Okay, so what did they do? To help their pensions, help their costs, stabilize the city, was they initiated Measure Z, which brought in another $50 million. Okay, that gave them a little padding for a minute, but it's not going to solve their problem. The city of Riverside could not afford a $10 million shortfall. If they had a $10 million shortfall, we would absolutely have no quality of life at all. And this, I'm sure, the finance department is looking at, because we are coming up to a presidential election and anything can happen to that stock market. If the stock market falls below 30 to 40%, the city will collapse. I don't see it any other way. And I'm sure their financial people don't see it any other way either. They only have around $35 million. That means nothing will get done. Quality of life issues, forget it. They won't even be cutting the palm trees down on Victoria. No. No, they will have to lay off people. They will not be able to fix buildings that need repair. No, they're going to take it from everywhere. $35 million is absolutely nothing. And if those pension costs go up, it keeps on chipping away at that $35 million. And then eventually, there will be nothing left. Wow. Anyway, I hope you like my rant today. My husband's going to put in the slides that need to be placed in here so you can at least see what the city is trying to do and how they kind of fudge the numbers so you don't really know that the actual budget is $303 million. And again, the extra $100 million along the way came from you, the taxpayer. They actually want another $100 million. And let me tell you, that won't even be enough for them. And what does it say when you keep on doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result? We have to make a change here. And if the people do not, if the people do not get behind voting and vote these people out of office, and it's very simple. Everywhere you see signs, like Andy Melendres has his signs over, Patricia Locke Dawson has her sign. You can see the signs that are going up everywhere. Those are the people you do not vote for. Those are the people that are bought and paid for. Okay? Our council is being purchased. And if you do not wake up and you do not fix this and go out and vote, I don't know. You know, I've always said that maybe sometimes I don't blame these people. All these people do is just say yes, right? They could care less about really what happens to you. Because right now, obviously in their budget, they care way more about the homeless than they do about you. Yes, you better do something, or not only are you going to use your quality of life, you are going to be taking your hard-earned money and you're going to be giving it to them. Oh, yes. Yeah. So you better wake up and go vote and vote these people out. And you better get mad or don't complain. One thing I just want to put in very clear perspective. The city of Riverside, this is how incompetent all these people are. It takes $219 million in personnel to figure out how to spend $35 million. How many people does it take to spend $35 million? I guess a lot. $219 million worth. Okay, talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.